This week on µNews, we've got Gert VGA updates, a laptop made from a Raspberry Pi, and the Bash bug. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of µNews covering the top stories of the week. First of all, we have to take care of some follow-up items, and that is, I have finished the Model A and B cases so that you can make a Raspberry Pi case out of a cereal box is what I love. I'm getting pretty addicted to this stuff. It's crazy. You can use a cereal box, manila folder, anything else. Those models are up. I'll link them up down below so that you can check that out. Another update is the Gert VGA that we covered a couple of weeks ago. A group of people might not get together and start running batches of these and selling them, so we will keep an eye. And some people have done just that. Pi Supply has put together a Kickstarter that has done very well. At this point, they have almost 300 backers and over 2,400 pounds of funding. They easily smashed their funding goal within the first 24 hours. So if you would like a Gert VGA, you can back that project and get one of the early ones. It does come in a kit with through-hole resistors, so you will have to solder that together. But anyway, really cool, much cheaper than buying an adapter. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to them. And if you want one, head on over there and back the project. Okay, let's talk projects. One of the biggest projects getting attention this week in social media was the face recognizing Pi Safe, which is basically a little home safe. It was a collaboration between Tony DeCola from Adafruit and David Sheltema from Make. Hopefully I pronounced your name right there, David. If I didn't, I apologize. Anyway, they took a Pi, mounted it inside of a little home safe, and used the OpenCV computer vision algorithms to basically enable face recognition so that you can come, install a little button on top, you press the button, takes a picture of your face. If it recognizes you, it unlocks the safe with a servo. They did a great write-up. There's instructions for how to do the entire thing, the whole build, a little bit of hardware, software, and a little bit of hardware in the sense of like metal machine shop type stuff. So it's a really cool project. Head on over and check it out. And thanks to them for posting it and sharing. Okay, now while very cool, that story did not get nearly as much attention as the Pi Top, which dominated social media this week for press coverage. Now the Pi Top is a laptop that was 3D printed by a group out of England that contains a Raspberry Pi. Now it says here, it's a do-it-yourself 3D printable Raspberry Pi laptop. Now, cool project. They 3D printed the case and things. Now we've been hearing for almost a week and a half that they're going to launch this on Kickstarter. Still no project yet. I don't know if that's maybe coming next week or not, but they've generated a ton of buzz around this, billing it as a 3D printed laptop. It has a 13.3-inch screen, 6 to 8 hours of battery life. And basically it's a case, has a Raspberry Pi in it. It's got a laptop keyboard and a trackpad. Really cool project. I don't know. I think they've kind of combined two things here that maybe are different things. What I mean by that is they're billing it as a 3D printed laptop. Well, really, it's just a 3D printed case that you can put a Raspberry Pi in and you got the screen in it. And they talk about all the things that you can learn on the Raspberry Pi. Well, I don't know that you need a laptop to learn all those things. You can do all those things with a Raspberry Pi and a normal monitor and a normal keyboard. But I think the 3D printed, to me, is kind of like the green thing. If people say our product is green, it kind of draws a lot of attention. I feel like 3D printing is that right now in hardware. If you can attach 3D printed to some project, it's all the rage. Anyway, I don't want to diss on these guys. I think the project is really cool, but I don't know that they need to build as a 3D printed Pi laptop. In fact, the Kickstarter, supposedly, whenever it does launch, the backers will not get 3D printed cases, they will get injection molded cases, which kind of takes the whole 3D printed out of the equation. But anyway, the thing that I really am excited about for this project is if you look at their site, which we will link up down below, it has a lot of potential for learning. It seems like they could be putting together a lot of educational stuff around this about how to understand how power works in electronics and how some of the more electronic-y things work, as well as the software. So I have high hopes for these guys to put together some really cool material, learning material. I don't know that they needed to do the 3D printed laptop. They are going to open sourced the plans for that. Now, the time it takes, their case took 160 hours to print, so if you do plan on printing that, make sure you got 160 hours that you can let that thing run. So anyway, cool project. We'll see where it goes. The Kickstarter project is, as they've been saying for the last week and a half, coming soon. We'll see when that does come. When it does, we'll be on it here at µNews, and we will link it up and give you updates as they are available. Okay, and moving on to the biggest story of the week, and that is the bash bug, or Shellshock vulnerability, as some people are calling it. Turns out this is a 22-year-old bug in the bash program found on Unix and Linux machines, even present in the most recent version that they released. What it does, we'll just read the thing here. It says, the 22-year-old bug dating back to version 1.13 lies in bash's handling of environment variables. When assigning a function to a variable, trailing code in the function definition will be executed, leaving the door wide open for injection attacks. The vulnerability is exploitable remotely if code can be smuggled into environment variables sent over the network, and it's surprisingly easy to do so. So all the experts are agreeing this thing is potentially much, much bigger than Heartbleed just because of how easy it is to exploit, and that it's just been around forever. And there's still news coming in of things that have been exploited with it. There is a patch. They were on this right away, including if you have a Raspberry Pi, Raspbian, the distribution has been updated. And we're going to link up a video over here that we made to show you how you can test whether you have been, whether your Raspberry Pi is vulnerable and how to fix it. But anyway, this is the big story of the week. 22-year-old bug has been fixed, and so if you do have a Linux, Unix machine or a Raspberry Pi that's running code that can be accessed remotely, you're definitely going to want to upgrade and fix this to close that vulnerability off so that you don't have any problems. And that leads us once again to this week's tweet of the week, coming from Brandon Jones. And Brandon says, the world is shocked by Heartbleed and the bash bug. Programmers are shocked we don't find something much worse on a daily basis. This is so true. Anybody out there who programs knows, or works in hardware for that matter, knows it's a miracle that any of this stuff works. You know, we have such a hard time getting the simplest stuff to work sometimes when we're hacking on it. It's amazing that these large systems work and don't just destroy our lives every single day. So thanks a lot, Brandon. Love the tweet. So true. And that does it for this week's episode of µNews. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know if you have a story that you'd like to see on µNews. We can keep track of it. And don't forget to subscribe up so you can get the latest updates. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend. We'll see you next week. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of µNews, covering the top stories of the week. First of all, we've got some follow-up to take care of. And I don't have these ready in my hand yet. Look at this, what am I doing? I don't like the way this is going. I don't like this story. We're gonna do this again.